Hey everybody, it's Biggie. Welcome to Biggie's Auto. Sun's shiny today. Holy crap, I should wear glasses. But anyway, welcome to the channel. So we're back on the Corvette deal. As you can see, we are deep in it here. It's like, Eric, what the fuck did you do to your vet? I had a spasm. I think I did too much meth. I'm tripping, tweaking out, whatever the fuck it is. But anyway, there was some body. What started all this? There was some body work here, and every time the sun hit it, I'd have like a dick hanging off the side of here, look like a penis hanging off the back. So I wanted to take care of that. So basically, I went down and did everything to the front of. You're not gonna be able to see it, but to the front edge of the door is basically what's done. So I removed all this as well, and all this is getting new hardware, and I cleaned all of it up. It's just sitting here. I'm ready to paint it and all that stuff, and I got the rear bumper sitting over there that I'm doing work to. But anyway, that's not the purpose of this video. Here's the biggest problem, and I'm going to show you guys here. Remember, we put fuel injection on, and I didn't see it, but look at these. It's hard to see. I don't know if the sun will let me catch it, but these fuel lines, look how rusty. This is terrible. So, and that's just what I can see. I can only imagine what I'm going to run into later. So basically, I was tripping on some meth, did about 4 rails of cocaine and about 5 cases of Red Bull, and I came up with the idea that we're going to rip all this out. We're going to replace it with braided fuel line, number 6 fuel line, number 6 AN fittings, and we're going to take that all the way up to the fuel injection that we did earlier that you can watch video on in the channel. We're going to hook that up. So anyway, that's what the plan is, and I'm going to get started here and removing this. And it's probably some different part 1 and part 2 because this is a big project, but we got to first remove all the old shit. So that's what we're going to start with. All right, guys, quick tip. I can't even talk right now. I don't know if you can see in here. The lighting here is terrible. I can't see. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can visibly see this, but you see how this line here is bigger than. Damn it! Can never see this line here. Okay, so this line's bigger than this line. Fucking shadows right there. So obviously your bigger fuel line is your supply. Rule of thumb, this applies to any car. Your bigger line coming off your fuel pump is obviously your supply. The smaller line is going to be your vent or your return. I mean return. So something to keep in mind when you're plumbing this, if they both come apart, something to keep in mind is that your bigger line. I don't know if this helps. Your bigger line. I don't know if you can see the difference here. How this one's a little bigger. Shit. I'm trying to do side by side. It's not working, but this line's a little bigger. So that's obviously your supply. So a little tip when you're doing your fuel system is like some guys will use like a number 8 for supply and a number 6 for return. You can do that. I'm using 6 for both only because I have enough volume and stuff. I'm not really running high horsepower, so I really don't need the volume to feed it. But if you're in a race engine application or a track only use application, you might want to seriously consider maybe a number 8 for your supply. 8 AN for your supply, so that we have enough volume and go from there, and use a 6 as your return. So it's just something to keep in mind, a little bit of a tip in when you're plumbing this up. So I'm going to keep going here and we're going to update later. Hey everybody, it's Biggie. So we're back here. We got all the old hose, the fuel lines removed. It's all tangled up my extension cord. The fuel lines are removed. So now we're working on the lines we have here. They're nylon braided, but don't let the name fool you. I actually looked inside here of this hose, and you can actually see. It's hard to see, but looks like there's some kind of like a stainless some kind of metal webbing in there. So it looks like there's like a metal wall and then there's this nylon wall. with the hose. It's not just plain rubber, so it's pretty sturdy hose. I got ends here. I put them on. Believe it or not, these things pressed on pretty nicely. I was surprised. So these are the fittings I'm using. Hard to tell the plastic. They have that barbed end on them. So obviously you push the hose onto that end. So basically what you're going to do is I'm using this here silicone. Any kind of silicone spray will do. So you're going to take silicone spray. And now what I did was I put the hose in my bench vise. So then you're going to spray the inside of here with the silicone. Let it sit. And then what you should be able to do is take this fitting here and it should push into there, which I was surprised it did, because I tried regular stainless braided. I had a hell of a time getting those on. I forget what I did to get them on, but it was a real chore. Here with these, I sprayed it. Like I said, I had in a vise. I sprayed the silicone and I twisted that fitting while pushing down, not ridiculously hard, but enough firm pressure, and by twisting it, it went all the way on. So I am really stoked. I also, just for a little insurance, I put a zip tie on here, just to doubly make sure that this is not going to slip off when it's under pressure. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and feed this through. And believe it, and I have to see it because I'm only up to, just to get, here's the rear tire. I'm only up to here and I'm already on my second. I'm going to have to order another 20-foot of hose. But at least I'm from the tank here up to that part with both the supply and the return lines. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to plumb that in, and then I'm going to see if I can go any further. I do have a second spool, but I don't think it's going to be enough to finish the car. I might need a third spool of 20 feet of 6-AN hose to hopefully finish it all up. I'm not 100% sure yet. I might just replace the stainless line I have going to my fuel pressure regulator. I might just go ahead and just take that all out and just run this stuff directly up to my fuel pressure gauge and my regulator, and just leave the other lines the stainless braided. So that way there's not an extra connection. Everything is fluid and a straight shot right up to the actual connection. I might do that, but I'm definitely going to need probably a third roll of hose to do that. But for now, we got this and we're that far. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and we'll see how far we get. Alright guys, so here I'm going to show you guys how to put on an AN fitting. I have here a straight AN fitting. I'm going to put it on a nylon hose here. Some people just don't know. I learned this. I put it in a vise. You kind of one of those things you almost need like 3 hands to do this. So a table vise does help. So I don't have the post pinched off. Just have it in there snug. So basically what you want to do is, it's a 2-piece. These fittings are, the middle nut there that you see I'm pointing at, that's a 3/4 inch, so you can hold a wrench on there and take it apart. And as you see, it's fine thread and it comes all apart there. So then what you're going to do is you're going to you see there's a bubble there which helps pinch the hose inside that fitting right there. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to use some silicone spray. Spray that on there. Get it on there pretty good, because you want that fitting to slide over real nice, and you want a nice tight fit. So I actually put some on the back side of the fitting so that way it helps slide over top as well. So I'm actually opposite of what this video shows. I'm pushing down, I'm spinning it clockwise. Here it looks like it's counterclockwise, but because of the camera it looks that way, but it's actually clockwise. So what I do sometimes, I'll take a small hammer and gently tap it down to make sure that hose goes up against the shoulder that's on the inside of the fitting. Again, I'm making sure that it's pushed down tight, that it's up against there real well, to make sure we get a good seal when we put the other piece of the fitting together. Now, you're going to push that in there. Now, what you want to make sure is that you get it straight, that it threads correctly. You don't want to cross thread it. That would be terrible. But yet at the same time, you want to make sure that you're able, that it grabs the hose, because again, it's going to actually draw everything in each other, and that's what gives you your seal, is when that draws everything together, it creates a seal. Now again, because of the camera, it looks like I'm turning that nut counterclockwise, but it's actually, you're tightening it, you're turning it clockwise. And I'm using a 3/4 inch combination wrench for that. Now, as you're going to go here, you're going to see it's going to get tight as you tighten this up. It's going to get to the point where the other fitting is going to want to spin on the hose, and you want to prevent that. So I think here shortly I have to use a second wrench. I believe I used an 18 millimeter or I think I used an adjustable. I have to wait and see here. Unfortunately, my original audio got lost here. So yes, I'm going to be using an adjustable on the hose where the hose is into. And again, I'm going to go back to using that 3/4 inch combination wrench to continue tightening the fitting. Again, to draw that hose up into there, and where that bubble, if you remember seeing that on the fitting, that's what's going to pinch everything together, and to give you the seal to make sure that when we put fuel through this line, that we're not going to get any kind of leak or of any sort to to cause a problem. So just take your time in tightening this and being careful that you don't gouge the lower one. I've done that. So if you watch, I actually have the wrench offset, that the fitting is actually at the bottom of the wrench, and I'm doing that on purpose to make sure that the fitting, the lower fitting, isn't getting gouged. As you can see, it's getting closer and closer to getting tight, and the fitting almost looks like it did originally when we took it out of the package. And that's what you want. You want to make sure that's tight. You want to make sure that that lower fitting stays on the hose, not that it backs off and walks off on you. You wouldn't want that. So I'm just putting the finishing touches here on. I'm just about there, looks like. And yep, right there you can see. So get it nice and snug. You don't need to bear tight it. So we'll take it out of the vise, check it out, give it a tug here and there, make sure that thing's tight, that it's not going to pull off. If it doesn't pull off, that's going to be a really good, that should give you a real good seal and work nice for you for the fuel lines. Alright, Big E here. So we finished the install. So I'm going to give you guys kind of an overview of what we did. So I did decide to run the nylon braided hose up to, this is again the supply. I decided to run that up to the gauge. So that way I wouldn't have an extra connection over there where the stainless hose ended. I got rid of all that and just ran it directly into here as a straight shot. Now let me walk around over here and I'll show you the return. So I took the return. I also deleted that as well. So what I did was I went directly to the pressure regulator here, the fuel pressure regulator, and ran it down through there. So I don't know if you can really see it that well. The lighting's terrible, but I tried to keep it as far against here, away from the exhaust manifold, because you want to keep your fuel cool. You want to keep it away from any heat and any chafing, of course. So banded everything up here. Went down below. Bear with me. I don't know how good you can see this, but there's the here's where I have the hoses there. There's the fuel filter. That's where it's going to go up. Let's see if I can. I had the fuel lines here, mounted here, and running all the way back to, hang on, bear with me. I'm sorry guys, I'm probably making you dizzy, but it's a one-man band here, trying to flop around. You can see here is the let me find myself. Here I'm. All right, here's the connection with the hose ends with a 90, and where it goes up there, up over the fender well. I'm not 100% sure on this. I mean, it's secure. I just don't like it. I might have to add. I mean, here it's pretty rigid, but I don't like it here. It still moves, but here it's pretty good. So I still am thinking on that, of if I need to make another mount to sturdy that up a little more. And then finally, it goes up over my tire here. I could have that in a way, but it comes out eventually. It's going to come out here. We followed the stock routing. Can't see my finger because of the shadow, but it comes here. Maybe you see better here where my finger is, and comes up here. And ultimately, this is the only place I used band clamps, was the return. And you can see here, there's a band clamp on the supply. So that's kind of a quick overview of the fuel system. I did have to go back. I think I cut 2 inches off the lines that came up on the passenger side. I kind of made them too long, which I guess it's better to make them too long than too short, because you can always recut them to the correct size so they fit right. If they're too short, you obviously have to rerun the whole line. But I was able to do that. I was hoping I could have had on video with it pressurized. Unfortunately, the battery's dead, so I can't pressurize the fuel system just yet to check for leaks. But as soon as I get the battery charged, I'm going to check for, the next step would be obviously checking for leaks. And if there are no leaks, then it would be firing it up and just making sure everything's good. So that wraps up the fuel system. Not really restoration, I guess it'd be replacement, but yeah, I guess replacement. So everything was replaced from the fuel pump all the way to the front. You saw where I have it hooked up in the front. So all that's replaced. All the rotten fuel lines and the dried out hoses are gone. Everything's brand new hose, brand new AN fitting. So we should be in good shape. So as you can see, I got the bumper cover off here. I got all this exposed. So when I get this all together, it should be fresh paint, new fuel lines. I'm going to fix some wiring. We should be in pretty good shape when we put this thing back together. It's ended up being a bigger project than I thought. So anyway, till next time, like and subscribe, leave a comment. Watch out for each other. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time right here on Big E's Auto. Bye for now.